Hi. Before we start, I want to say something. Tonight's talk is a little more personal than usual. Not dramatic, not shocking, just honest. These are the things I never told my parents. Not because I didn't love them, not because they were bad people, but because some truths feel too heavy to place in the hands of the people who raised you. Some truths feel safer staying quiet. I never told my parents how sad I really was. They knew I had bad days. They knew I got quiet sometimes. They knew I slept a lot, or not enough. But they didn't know how deep it went. They didn't know there were mornings I woke up already exhausted, that sometimes breathing felt like work, that I learned how to smile automatically even when nothing inside me felt okay. I never told them how often I felt empty instead of sad, because emptiness is harder to explain. Sadness has a shape people recognize. Emptiness just sounds ungrateful. So I said, I'm fine, and I meant I'm surviving. I never told them how loud my thoughts could get at night, how my mind replayed every mistake, every disappointment, every version of myself that didn't measure up. I never told them how close I came to believing the world would be better without me, not because I wanted to die, but because I was so tired of being alive in my own head. I didn't have the language for depression back then, and even if I did, I wasn't sure they'd hear it the way I needed them to. So I stayed quiet and learned how to carry it alone. I never told my parents how much pressure I felt to become someone they could be proud of. Not in a cruel way, just quietly. The kind of pressure that comes from love mixed with expectation. The kind that makes you afraid to fail loudly. The kind that turns mistakes into shame instead of lessons. I learned early how to be the good one, the one who didn't cause trouble, the one who didn't ask for too much, the one who held it together. But holding it together came at a cost. I never told them how scared I was of disappointing them, how every decision felt like it carried the weight of their hopes, how sometimes I didn't know if I was living for myself or performing a version of myself that felt acceptable. And then there's the part I never said out loud at all. I never told my parents that I'm gay. I never told them about the quiet knowing that showed up before I had words for it, the way my heart reacted differently than it was supposed to, the way I learned early to edit myself. I learned how to monitor my tone, my expressions, my stories, what I laughed at, who I talked about. I learned how to shrink something real into something invisible, not because I was ashamed of who I am, but because I was afraid of what honesty might cost me. I never told them how lonely it feels to hide a part of yourself from the people who are supposed to know you best. How strange it is to be loved for a version of you that isn't fully true. How painful it is to imagine losing that love if you stop pretending. I never told them about the relationships I never brought home, the feelings I learned to swallow, the future I couldn't picture safely. I never told them how heavy it feels to love quietly. I never told them how much I wished things were simpler, how I wished my truth didn't feel like a risk, how being myself felt like choosing honesty or safety. I never told them that sometimes I feel like a stranger in my own life, that I exist in two versions, the one they know and the one I live with when I'm alone. And loving them while hiding parts of myself feels like a constant negotiation between gratitude and grief, between loyalty and self-preservation. I never told my parents that I'm still figuring things out, that I don't have the certainty they think I do, that confidence is often just muscle memory, that adulthood didn't come with clarity, it came with better coping skills. I never told them how often I question everything, my path, my choices, my worth, or how much of my strength came from learning to survive silence. And maybe the hardest part is this: I don't blame them. They did the best they could with what they knew. They loved me in the ways they understood how. They protected me in the ways they believed mattered. Some truths weren't safe to tell back then. Some still aren't. And that doesn't mean I'm dishonest. It means I'm human. There are things children learn to hide not because they want to, but because they sense the world isn't ready to hold them. If you're listening to this and carrying similar truths about your mental health, your identity, your sadness, your silence, you're not weak for keeping them close. You're not fake for surviving the way you had to. One day you may tell them. One day you may not. Both are valid. Healing doesn't always look like confession. Sometimes it looks like self-acceptance. Sometimes it looks like choosing yourself quietly. Tonight, I just wanted to say the things I never could. And maybe by saying them here, someone else feels a little less alone. If you're holding truths that feel too heavy to share, I see you. You're not wrong for protecting yourself. You're not broken for being complicated. You're not ungrateful for wanting to be fully known. Some stories take time. Some truths need safety before they can breathe. And until then, you're allowed to exist exactly as you are. Good night.